G'day again. Last video on hypothesis testing, and we're going to talk about type 1 and type 2 errors, and this is easy. Okay, type 1 and type 2 errors. So basically, hypothesis testing is deciding whether something has changed or not, and you're deciding that based on probabilities of the probability of those things happening or not, whether your sample mean, what the probability of that being that high was. And so it's only based on probability. It's not concrete, it's not black and white, so you need to make a decision on what you recommend. But there's going to be errors when they happen. And so you've got two types of errors that can happen. So type 1 is that if you reject the null hypothesis, but it was actually true, that is a type 1 error. Okay, so that you decided to reject H0 based on your p-value, but it was actually true, so you made a mistake. Well, you didn't make a mistake, but it turns out that the statistics told you something that didn't end up being true. Okay, so that's a type 1 error. Type 2 error is the opposite. So, and the other one is if you accept the null hypothesis. So you go, oh yep, I say that the null hypothesis is true, but it was actually false. Okay, so there's my type 1 error and my type 2 error. So type 2 error, you've accepted H0, but it was actually false. So I'm just going to go through an example now, and just to show you what this actually means, and that's basically it. So here's an example. We've got an iPhone with a battery life average of 6 hours with a standard deviation of 0.7, and Apple says that their new iPhone has a longer battery life. So let's just go through this process. So the null hypothesis says that mu is equal to 6, and the alternate hypothesis is that they reckon it lasts longer, so that's greater than 6. Null hypothesis, alternate hypothesis. So what would a type 1 error mean? Okay, so type 1 error means that you've rejected the null hypothesis, but it was wrong. Okay, so you said that, so rejecting null hypothesis means that you've said that the battery life is longer. So you said the battery life was longer, but it wasn't. Okay, so using your Z-test, you've decided that you've rejected H0 in favour of HA, so it is longer than 6 hours, but it wasn't, so you've made that type of error. Type 2 error. Type 2 error is it's just the exact opposite of that. Okay, so you said that the battery life is unchanged. In other words, it still has an average of 6. So you said it was unchanged. In other words, you accepted the null hypothesis, but it had changed, increased. It had actually increased. And so they're just the two type of errors that you can make when dealing with hypothesis testing. And that's it. It's pretty simple. Yeah, not much to it. That's it for hypothesis testing. Enjoy. See ya.